Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders are getting ready for a big divisional clash against the New York Giants. And while most of the headlines focus on veterans like Terry McLaurin or Jahan Dotson, there's a new face quietly making waves in the locker room. Rookie wide receiver Jaylen Lane, fresh out of Virginia Tech, is entering his very first NFL season. And even though he may not be listed as one of the top targets in the passing game just yet, his name is starting to generate buzz inside the building. Head coach Dan Quinn has openly praised his growth and versatility, particularly pointing to his skills as a punt returner. That role is no small responsibility in today's NFL, where one return can flip momentum instantly. Lane might not just be a depth chart body. He could quickly carve out a real niche that makes him indispensable for Washington throughout the season. Quinn emphasized that while Lane was drafted for his speed and explosiveness, it's his willingness to be coached that's making the biggest difference early on. He specifically highlighted how Lane has been absorbing the teaching of wide receivers coach Bobby Ingram, applying lessons directly from practice drills into live-action reps. That kind of adaptability is exactly what separates rookies who stick around from those who fade away. Lane has been learning how to slow his tempo on option routes, an advanced technique that allows him to manipulate defenders rather than just trying to outrun them. For a player coming from a college system that leaned heavily on tempo and quick snaps, this transition is a significant adjustment. The NFL game is more deliberate, more physical, and far less forgiving of mistakes. Yet Lane seems to be thriving in that environment, showing growth with every practice rep. This development is particularly encouraging because rookie receivers often struggle with the complexity of NFL defenses. College football, especially in up-tempo schemes, rarely forces wideouts to deal with constant man-to-man coverage, disguised blitzes, and tight leverage. Lane's ability to adjust and understand how to create separation against professional defensive backs is something Quinn singled out as ahead of schedule. The process of learning how to manipulate leverage and use footwork instead of relying purely on speed is something that usually takes time, but Lane is showing glimpses that he can accelerate that curve. Washington has been looking for depth at receiver, and if Lane can translate these lessons into actual game day execution, it could open the door for him to see more snaps on offense much earlier than expected. Of course, the primary expectation for Lane this season revolves around special teams. Being named the team's likely punt returner is both a reward and a massive responsibility. Returning punts in the NFL is one of the most dangerous yet impactful jobs, demanding vision, courage, and lightning-fast decision-making. A good returner not only flips field position but can change the entire tone of a game with one explosive run. For a rookie, the pressure will be immense, but Lane's track record of speed and shiftiness makes him a natural candidate for the role. Washington has struggled in recent years to find consistency in that department, and if Lane can provide even a steady hand, he'll already be bringing value beyond his receiver reps. The possibility of a game-changing return against the Giants on Sunday only adds more intrigue to his debut. Still, what's particularly intriguing about Lane's situation is that the Commanders opted to carry just 5 wide receivers on the roster, a relatively thin number for an NFL team. That decision signals trust not only in the health and productivity of the top options, but also in Lane's ability to contribute if called upon. While he may start out as primarily a returner, injuries or fatigue could open doors for him on offense. In fact, with Washington's offense under new leadership, there's always a chance for creative packages that utilize Lane's speed in jet sweeps, screens, or slot matchups. If he continues to show growth in practice, there's little doubt he'll earn more opportunities as the season unfolds. This debut against the Giants could be the first step toward a much bigger role than anyone initially imagined for him. Sunday's game itself provides the perfect backdrop for Lane's first NFL appearance. The Commanders and Giants have a long-standing rivalry, and every divisional matchup carries extra weight, especially this early in the season. For a rookie like Lane, the spotlight will feel brighter, the stage larger, and the stakes higher. The Giants' defense is known for bringing pressure and forcing quarterbacks into quick decisions, which means the Commanders will need all their playmakers ready to contribute. Whether Lane gets offensive snaps or sticks mainly to special teams, His ability to provide spark plays could prove crucial. A strong debut in front of the home crowd would not only boost his confidence, but also solidify his place in Quinn's rotation moving forward. In games like these, hidden contributors often make the difference between victory and defeat. It's also worth noting that Quinn's coaching style seems to align perfectly with Lane's early progress. Known for his emphasis on fundamentals and player development, Quinn has been transparent about how impressed he is with Lane's adaptability. Rather than simply praising his speed, Quinn has focused on the rookie's attention to detail, patience in route running, and ability to translate coaching into execution. That kind of endorsement speaks volumes, especially when coming from a head coach trying to establish a culture of accountability and growth in Washington. For a rookie trying to make his mark, there may be no greater compliment than hearing that he's ahead of schedule in mastering the nuances of the professional game. The challenge now becomes consistency. For every young player, the key to longevity in the NFL isn't just making a splash in practice or even in a debut game. It's stringing together strong performances week after week. Lane will need to show he can handle the physicality of NFL defenders, the grind of a long season, and the mental adjustments that come with film study and preparation. Special teams coordinators across the league are notorious for testing rookie returners, sending aggressive coverage units their way to see if they flinch. Lane's toughness, decision-making, and ability to protect the football will all be under a microscope. If he can prove dependable in those areas, the Commanders will have far fewer concerns about letting him take on more offensive snaps as the season develops. Looking at the bigger picture, Lane's emergence is symbolic of what Washington hopes to build this season. A balanced roster with contributions coming from every level, not just the stars. While McLaurin and Dotson will remain the focal points of the passing game, it's players like Lane who can elevate the ceiling of the offense and special teams. Depth has always been a critical factor in the NFL, and successful teams often find surprise contributors in unexpected places. Lane's journey from being a relatively quiet draft pick to potentially impacting games in multiple ways is exactly the type of story fans love to follow. For a franchise eager to climb back into playoff contention, these kinds of developments can make a huge difference by the time December rolls around. As kickoff approaches against the Giants, all eyes won't just be on the established names, but also on how rookies like Lane handle the spotlight. His speed, his adaptability, and his growing understanding of the game all suggest that he's ready to contribute in meaningful ways. Whether it comes through a momentum-swinging punt return or a sneaky third-down catch, Lane has the chance to make a statement in his very first NFL outing. The Commanders don't need him to be a star right away. They just need him to be reliable, disciplined, and opportunistic when his number is called. If he can do that, Sunday's game might not just be the start of his career, but the beginning of a season where he becomes a key piece of Washington's puzzle, one step at a time. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. The NFL world is shaking tonight as the news breaks that CeeDee Lamb, the electrifying wide receiver who has tormented defenses for years, has officially signed with the Washington Commanders. Sources close to the team hint that this is more than a standard acquisition. It's a power move, a statement to the rest of the league that the Commanders are no longer content with being in the shadows. Fans are buzzing with excitement, and social media is already flooded with speculation about how Lamb's skill set will transform Washington's offensive dynamics. The whispers around the league suggest that this wasn't just about the money or the playbook. Lamb was looking for a platform where he could truly shine, and the Commanders, desperate for star power, were ready to deliver. Meanwhile, Cowboys fans are reportedly left stunned, feeling a mixture of betrayal and disbelief. The deal, insiders say, involved intricate negotiations that went down behind closed doors, with both sides carefully weighing the ramifications. Lamb, known for his explosive speed, precise route running, and uncanny ability to catch seemingly impossible passes, reportedly had multiple suitors, including some perennial playoff contenders, but ultimately chose Washington. There's chatter that his decision was influenced not just by contract value, but by the promise of being the centerpiece of a team hungry for identity and glory. Analysts are now speculating about how the Commanders' offensive scheme will shift to maximize Lamb's strengths, potentially turning him into one of the most feared receivers in the league. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, a team Lamb dazzled for years, are left licking their wounds, trying to figure out how they miscalculated or underestimated Washington's ability to lure him away. Rumors of secret visits and clandestine meetings have only fueled the fire. Fans across the country are reacting in real time, creating memes, Twitter threads, and TikTok videos, some celebrating the move and others mourning the loss to Dallas. Social media sentiment is a whirlwind of excitement, disbelief, and heated debates over what this means for both franchises. The Commanders' front office, notoriously secretive, is now basking in the spotlight, with sources hinting that this move could be just the first in a series of bold acquisitions. There's an undeniable aura of suspense, as insiders leak hints of potential offensive reinforcements and coaching adjustments designed specifically to exploit Lamb's unmatched skill set. Meanwhile, sports talk shows are exploding with speculation, pundits dissecting every angle, and fans analyzing film clips frame by frame, trying to predict how Lamb's presence could alter defensive game plans across the league. Beyond the field, this signing is already having ripple effects in the broader NFL landscape. Betting odds are shifting, fantasy football drafts are being reconsidered, and even casual fans are tuning in, curious to see how the dynamic of the NFC East will evolve. The Cowboys, traditionally dominant in their division, may now face a significant challenge, as Washington's sudden infusion of star power could redefine rivalries. Behind the scenes, team executives are reportedly holding emergency meetings to assess their next moves, trying to anticipate how this blockbuster acquisition might influence draft strategies, trade possibilities, and roster adjustments. The narrative is no longer just about individual talent. It's about momentum, perception, and signaling to the entire league that the Commanders are serious contenders. Lamb's signing feels like more than a transaction. It feels like a statement, a declaration that Washington is back, ready to disrupt expectations and challenge traditional hierarchies in the most competitive division in football. Insiders also reveal that Lamb's transition to Washington may involve a full rebranding of his image, with the Commanders planning to market him as the face of the franchise. From commercials to social campaigns, and even community engagement initiatives, Lamb is poised to become synonymous with Washington's new era. The speculation around his potential chemistry with the existing roster is intense, as analysts debate which quarterbacks, tight ends, and running backs will benefit the most from his explosive capabilities. Meanwhile, whispers circulate about possible internal adjustments in the locker room, with veteran players reportedly intrigued by the prospect of learning from someone of Lamb's caliber. The rumor mill continues to churn, with some suggesting that his arrival could also influence coaching philosophies, forcing adjustments to playbooks, formations, and even practice routines. Every aspect of the Commanders' operation seems poised to feel the tremors of this acquisition, turning Lamb's signing into a transformative event that extends far beyond mere stats and highlights. CeeDee Lamb's departure from Dallas is also a narrative in itself, sparking debate about loyalty, opportunity, and timing. Cowboys insiders reportedly felt blindsided, despite having ample warning that Lamb's contract situation could attract suitors. The emotional undercurrent is palpable, as fans debate whether this move signifies a fracture between player and organization, or merely a natural evolution of a career seeking the spotlight. Analysts have begun dissecting previous seasons, pinpointing moments that might have hinted at Lamb's readiness for a new challenge, moments where his talent seemed to outgrow the constraints of his former environment. The story now threads into a larger tapestry of NFL dynamics, where players' ambitions intersect with organizational strategy, fan expectations, and the unforgiving nature of professional sports. In this context, Lamb's choice resonates as a bold, calculated gamble, signaling both confidence in his abilities and faith in the Commanders' vision for immediate impact. Speculation about the financials behind the deal is rampant, with insiders hinting at incentives, bonuses, and performance clauses that could make this one of the most lucrative contracts of the decade. Sources whisper about creative structures designed to reward Lamb for milestones, Pro Bowl selections, and team achievements, transforming his compensation into a narrative of performance and legacy. Meanwhile, The Commanders' management appears poised to leverage the deal as a recruiting tool, signaling to prospective players that Washington is serious about assembling top-tier talent. The optics are undeniable. A star receiver leaving a powerhouse like Dallas for Washington is a headline-grabbing coup, a move that could redefine perception, energize the fan base, and disrupt competitive balance across the league. Rumors even suggest that rival teams are scrambling to recalibrate their own strategies, wondering if they've underestimated Washington's ambition and ability to sway elite talent with promises of opportunity and prominence. The locker room chemistry angle has fans and pundits alike theorizing endlessly. Some suggest that Lamb's competitive drive could elevate the performance of existing players, creating a culture of accountability and heightened expectation. Others fear potential tension if egos clash, especially in a locker room adjusting to a new superstar presence. Behind the scenes, coaches are reportedly designing personalized training programs to integrate Lamb smoothly, ensuring his skill set complements rather than conflicts with established schemes. Speculation abounds about potential mentorship roles, with veteran players possibly learning new techniques while simultaneously navigating the challenges of sharing spotlight moments. Every interview, press conference, and media interaction in the coming weeks will be scrutinized, with analysts searching for subtle hints of chemistry, friction, or strategy, turning every public appearance into a piece of the evolving narrative surrounding Washington's new football icon. As news spreads, social media trends show spikes in hashtag usage, memes, and fan commentary, highlighting how deeply this move has resonated. Analysts have started drawing parallels to past Blockbuster acquisitions, noting similarities in timing, secrecy, and market impact. Yet the whispers suggest this move carries a unique weight, given the NFC East context and the individual trajectory of Lamb's career. The conversation has evolved beyond football, touching on branding, identity, and the broader cultural implications of star athletes choosing their platforms. Rumors of subsequent signings, coaching shifts, and strategic trades are already circulating, making it clear that Lamb's arrival is not an isolated event, but a potential catalyst for a larger transformation within the league. The intrigue, speculation, and excitement show no signs of abating, making this one of the most talked-about developments in recent NFL history. Even the fantasy football world has been rocked, with Lamb's arrival in Washington prompting a frenzy of recalculations, projections, and strategic pivots. Managers are weighing how his presence could alter targets, scoring patterns, and offensive flow. Sources hint that his impact may extend to deep sleepers and secondary players, as defensive adjustments against Lamb could open opportunities elsewhere on the roster. Rumors of training camp showdowns, preseason chemistry tests, and exhibition performances are fueling endless debate as fans attempt to forecast production, predict statistics, and analyze matchups. Meanwhile, the Cowboys' fantasy prospects face re-evaluation, with Lamb's departure leaving a void in historical patterns and statistical projections. Across forums, chat rooms, and social media, fans dissect footage, break down rumors, and build elaborate theories about how this blockbuster signing will reverberate across the NFL, illustrating how a single decision can ripple through multiple dimensions of the sport. As the dust settles, the narrative surrounding CeeDee Lamb's move to the Commanders is still evolving. Yet one thing is clear: the NFL landscape has shifted. What was once a quiet offseason has erupted into a spectacle of speculation, strategic analysis, and emotional reaction. Fans, analysts, and insiders continue to debate the long-term implications, from playoff positioning to Super Bowl potential, while social media amplifies every whisper and rumor. The Commanders have not only acquired a superstar athlete, but also a narrative-defining figure whose presence will dominate headlines, conversations, and broadcasts for months to come. Meanwhile, the Cowboys and the rest of the league are left scrambling to reassess their strategies, proving that in the high-stakes world of professional football, a single bold move can reverberate far beyond the field, altering perceptions, ambitions, and competitive dynamics in ways few could have predicted. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.